What's up, guys? This is Carter here with Coin Mastery TV. Episode, 8 already. These things are just flying by. So welcome. Thanks for coming. CoinMastery.com. Go check it out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Today we're going to do a pretty good rundown, but I'm also going to try to do this a little bit more rapid fire. I've been testing different lengths, and I think that we haven't really done one that's super fast yet. Maybe able to help you just get the quick download of what's going on, answer some questions, and also show you what I've been doing, both good and bad, so that you can learn and eventually use that as part of your education so that you can make an ungodly amount of money and go do whatever you want. All right, so we always open this up, start with Crypto Watch. This is obviously the name of the game. And right about a couple of hours ago, I'm on the west coast of the United States, we started to see an enormous spike. And we're seeing Bitcoin prices that are getting close to, in the ballpark of the all-time high. So if you guys ever see the acronym ATH, that means all-time high. Like if you see that on Facebook groups or something. All-time high right around 3,000. So we're getting there. And it was interesting too, because there's a lot of rumors going around that today and maybe tomorrow we're going to be really bearish days. It's going to be really big down days. And that may still happen for all we know. But a lot of this is being driven by the consensus among miners for the blockchain split, which I talked about yesterday. We'll talk about that in a few minutes here. But for all intents and purposes, keep an eye on Bitcoin. This is a big spike. Will it continue? Maybe, but there's always going to be uncertainty. And I think up until August 1st, when it's really official, I'm not calling anything, a real win or whatever. Litecoin right now actually having a hard time. It looks like they might be under like an attack. They're having a hard time processing transactions on certain exchanges, but Litecoin's really secure and it's built to withstand that kind of stuff. So I know those guys are on it, but the price has gone up. Ethereum's had a really good day. Interesting comment on Facebook yesterday. Someone saying, "Hey Carter, it kind of seems like you're not that into Ethereum. Why are you not really stoked about it?" The only reason why is because I already own a ton of Ethereum. It was the first big purchase I made. I bought it really low. So I have tons of Ethereum. And so it's kind of an internal bias thing where I just don't look at it because I want to build out the rest of my portfolio. That's the only reason why. Personally, I'm not that confident that Ethereum is going to be the be-all, end-all solution. I think it's got a lot of work to do, but I don't dislike it either. I think that it does have a future. I think that it's proven that there's something about it that's valuable. That's the only reason why. But Ethereum's doing well. Continuing again, these graphs are kind of shady because they don't really indicate that this is one of the this is a high in the last week or so, close to it at least. Everything else seems to be following a similar trend. Bitcoin really is leading the charge and so things are starting to catch up. That's why you're not seeing things correlate quite as quickly. Monero's doing great. As you guys know, I bought a bunch at 29 last weekend, so I'm always excited to see that. Monero and Bitcoin are also going to be affected by one of the big dark web sites was recently taken down. They accepted Monero and Bitcoin. So you might see a little bit of price action. It could actually help with the price because the supply gets smaller. It could hurt the price if they auction off all those coins, whatever it may be. This is something to keep in mind. And Augur is always doing well. Purecoin, you guys know that I mentioned Purecoin when it was about 150. It's just really low volume. That's the only reason I don't own any is because I like coins that I can flip it faster. Sometimes with the low volume stuff, it just takes a while. And they're starting to add a lot more coins. I've had a few people tell me about the OMG, which I'll show you guys. And it looks like it could be a good buy. To me, I didn't buy any because it feels a little hypey. It's almost, they have this unbelievable advisory board and everything on paper looks good. And they've been around for a while. Like they have a great product. It's very similar to Ethereum. I'm just not it looks like it's got a lot of hype behind it. And I always like to buy coins that nobody else is really talking about. I always find that for at least for like the big wins, that tends to be the the what works out really well for me over the long term. Stratus kind of doing its thing, whatever. All right, so let's flip over to Bittrex. So what happened yesterday? So let me say, first of all, Bitcoin going up. What does that mean? Well, it means that the relative price of altcoins that are pegged to Bitcoin on the exchange, right, in Bittrex, are all going to go down. That's why you see all these things go down. That can be a really, really good time to buy altcoins, right? We bought a lot of altcoins last week, and I did. Bitcoin was dropping, but so were the altcoins. That's why it was like a double win. Because not only were we getting a low Bitcoin price, you were getting a really low altcoin price. So when they both went back up, it was like double the returns, right? So I cleared 40% on 6 different trades so far, just because of that. Now we have another situation, which is still great for trading, where Bitcoin shoots up, but the altcoins can't keep pace with that. So they have a depressed price. Eventually, they're going to even out with Bitcoin, and that means that the price will naturally meet Bitcoin in some way. So as long as Bitcoin doesn't come back down, at least, right? Like if Bitcoin stays there, the altcoins will eventually rise. So this can be an opportunity too if you see a really good deal. Yesterday, if you didn't see, there was a big hacker breach with this wallet, the Parity Wallet, and it affected 3 main Ethereum tokens. One was, it's called SWT, which was Swarm City token. It affected Edgeless, which is like a casino, and then Eternity, which I don't know much about. But here's what happened. I saw this on Twitter. It happened like yesterday night, or like yesterday early in the morning. And I saw it around 10 a.m. my time. And let me pull this up here. I looked at I opened up the actual, let me see here. I opened these up on Bittrex. And I went to the 5 minutes because it was trading pretty fast. And let me pull this down a little bit. I saw that this was happening. It went from here and it just dropped. It dropped and it dropped. And I was sitting there looking at this thinking, okay, $30 million just got hacked. I went and looked at the market caps of all these coins, including all the Ethereum coins. And it was, the market cap of all these combined was like way more than the 30 million, right? For the whole market to be this depressed, it didn't make a lot of sense to me that it was going down this fast, right? Anytime that there's fear, that is the ultimate time to buy because you know it's bouncing back. So this is not necessarily a strategy because I really didn't know what was going to happen, but it was an amazing learning experience. So I took a pretty small amount of money, like maybe 0.3 Bitcoin or something, like $500 or $600 or something. And I bought in right there, right around 38 or 3,800 or whatever the Satoshi's thing is. And for all I knew, it was going to go back. It was going to go down to 0. Right? I thought this was like the end of the coin. But my thesis was, well, it's going to be all fear. It's just fear, and it's going to come back up. So I bought it. I immediately set my sell order at 51. It was like a 25% return, and I just closed my computer. And I honestly was like, we'll see what happens. And lo and behold, it came up, went back down. But the token regained a lot of its value. It realized that the hack was not as bad as everyone thought it was. It wasn't as much money as everyone thought it was. And it came back to what the actual financial impact probably was. Right? It was obviously a drop, but it wasn't this big of a drop. I did the exact same thing on Edgeless. Now again, guys, I'm not saying that there's some technical strategy around this. All I know is that the fear outpaced the financial drop that I was seeing. And so I bought in around 15, I think, right around here. And then I sold it at 21, right? So I wasn't even at my computer. The sell order was set, came back, and boom, it was 25% return on it. Again, it was a small amount of money, but it was amazing to me. And so what I learned from this and what you can learn from this is that when you see things that people are freaking out about, it could be a hack, it can be this fork, it can be, the founder gets hurt. I mean, it can be literally anything that scares people into selling. Anytime you see that, that is the ultimate time to buy. And I've done this enough times. I've done this like 6 or 7 times now. Not this big of a spike, but buying on fear, it comes back. The markets are too liquid not to. And that is really important. That's also why it's important to have enough volume to justify it. If this was like 10 Bitcoin, that'd be kind of a death sentence, right? So that was the big learning yesterday. I think the next thing for me is to just wait for the next big freak out in the markets and have enough money available to capitalize on the freakouts, and be able to throw more money at it, right? Like, it's one thing to be putting in 0.2, 0.3 Bitcoin and making your free shares back and having some stuff ride, right? So you guys know, like I explained the other day, I buy 15 at 21. I only sell enough to recoup my original cost. I still have 20% of these shares just floating around. Like, those are still out there. I could sell those if I wanted to, but I'm just going to let them ride, because you never know. Maybe it goes to like 100 and becomes a really good return for me. But I'm break even plus all these free shares. So that's been really good. So that was the hack. The other thing I wanted to show you guys real quick, this is the timeline. You can Google this. Just type in SegWit timeline and go to images. You'll find this. If you are wondering how can you kind of predict when the next big fear thing is going to happen, you can start to look at this as a general guideline. So everyone's talking about August 1st. That's when this fork has to go live, right? That's what. So right now, today is July 20th. The reason why people thought the end of this week was going to be bearish is because there wasn't a clear signal that the new chain, like the ongoing Bitcoin, was going to work, right? We're not going to split. That's the whole thing. The chances of us splitting now are like 1%. That's why the market is skyrocketing. So over the next week or so, it probably is going to keep this way unless something comes out of left field and it doesn't work out. It'll be a little tumultuous. Some people are probably going to, there's a rumor that some of the miners are going to come back and say, no, I don't want to do this, so that the drops and they can short their coin, make a lot of money. And then they say, actually, we are going to do it. And then it skyrockets again, and then they make a lot of money. It's like market manipulation. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But either way, by August 1st, this is going to go live. And then you can see that like late August, there's some new technologies, which really kind of, it's like the finalization of this all. But then is when you get into late October, early November, you're going to see another big freak out again based on this other hard fork, which we'll talk about later. We don't need to get into all the details of that. So all you really need to know about is over the next week, keep your eyes open for fear in these Facebook groups, on Twitter, on Reddit, like everywhere. The more you see people freaking out and panicking, like, what do I do? What's the word? Like, is this going to go down? Is it going to go up? The more you see that, the more you should be thinking, man, I should buy right now, because everybody's selling based on fear. And 8 out of 8 times in the last week and a half, every time I've seen fear, I've made a lot of money doing it. That's like the number one thing I can tell you. More than technical analysis, more than anything else, fear-driven drops, buy them and flip them real quick. It's the best. So we're going to keep it short today. I hope that's helpful for you guys. Remember, stay safe out there. Today, if I was going to do anything, keep an eye on this. This may come back down a little bit, but I would go into Bittrex, and I would probably try to find something that is getting, that is really low, really below the Bitcoin price, that has dropped a fair amount, off the top of my head. Go check out OMG. Like I said, I'm not totally sold on it. These two, Edgeless and Swarm City. I wouldn't really mess with those quite yet. I think they're still getting shaken out from the the hack. But I don't know. I think that there are some hidden gems in here. I just honestly have not looked deep enough into this. I'm still waiting on a few things. I think I'm still waiting on my Golem to sell off I bought that around 9,800, so I'm trying to sell it around 1,200. I think it's around 1,100 right now. I'm just kind of waiting for those things to sell, and then I'm really just hoping for the next big fear thing, and I can deploy more capital against it. So cool, guys. I hope you have a great day. Safe trading, happy trading. Here's to your future, your liberty, and kicking ass. All right, guys. Peace out.